joining us on YouTube. I am putting on my apron to signify the second half of the chat, even though we're not technically making any food tonight. But this way, you know, if you want to go back and watch just the second half, Casey, my daughter Casey, posts these chats as the full hour as one chat, and thank you, Loretta, for sharing that. She posts this as the full chat for one of the videos, and that's an hour long. So if you don't have an hour, or if you think, oh, I just want to know what she was talking about in the second half, that's when, and thank you, David, for posting that. That is when the apron goes on, okay? So, we already talked about doing our homework. We are moving on to the second half because I want to talk about something that happened this week, okay? So, my best friend, Melanie, her mom passed away it's been about 5 months ago now. 5 weeks ago now. And through a series of crazy events, her funeral was postponed, weather, trying to get family in, you know, whatever. And then the morning of her funeral, Melanie's dad passed away. So today we said goodbye to Bob. It was a very small, very sweet little military send-off. But because Melanie's and she's got a sick brother-in-law, she's just got a lot going on. So, she was going to go home and get in her pajamas tonight, and I do not blame her at all. This has been a horrific month and a half. So, a couple of Saturday mornings in a row, she has called, Mom fell, need you at the hospital. Mom passed away, having a funeral, not having a funeral, too much snow, blah, 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 blah. Then the Saturday morning of her mom, and I promise this is going to get happier. Then the Saturday morning of her mother's funeral, she called, you're not going to believe this. I couldn't understand her. She was so upset. So we just had Saturday after Saturday after Saturday after Saturday. Okay, this is how this started this week, okay? So this Saturday, about the same time in the morning that she's been calling me every time that there's been bad news, and she knows she can call me that early, I got a text message, okay? And I was like, oh my gosh, you're kidding me. You're kidding me. We can't be starting this again. What could be going on? So I reluctantly sneak over and look at my phone. Not Melanie. She was cool. But so I'm already a little bit jacked up, okay? This is how it started. So my employee and friend Kelsey was the one who was texting me at 10 till 6 on Saturday morning, not my friend Melanie, and innocently said, hey, her text said, hey, because remember, and I'm already like I'm on high alert, thinking that it's something else going on with Melanie. So my friend Kelsey, and she's an employee, innocently said, hey, I'm stopping at Smoothie King on my way in. Do you want anything? So I'm already on high alert, and immediately I thought, great, you know, because I'm already a little jacked up, and I thought, great, everybody else is going to be sipping a delicious smoothie, and I don't get one because obviously, Smoothie King, obviously, it's going to take all of my daily points and then some, okay? I mean, I was jacked up about a Smoothie King, okay? I was just already jacked up about the day, worrying about Melanie. So I politely said, no, thank you. But there was this little pang of regret, this tiny little pang of regret when the DoorDash girl walked in with their Smoothie Kings. So seeing them spending money on DoorDash was a whole nother source of anxiety for me because apparently Smoothie King wasn't open when she went by. But that's a discussion for another day, okay? So I'm already jacked up. Kelsey offers Smoothie King. I immediately decide the Smoothie King is going to be too many points. It's going to take all of my points, that I'm going to be miserable. Everybody gets stuff and I don't get anything. No. All this stuff, okay? So how it ended, though, after several oohs and ahs, oh, this is delicious, you know, whatever, as they sipped, Kelsey, and then Lily was here by then too, they tag teamed me, okay? And they tried to convince me that despite my intel from a couple of years ago, because I did intel on Smoothie King a couple of years ago, that surely, they assured me, the two of them, and they were tag teaming me with the little puppy dog eyes and everything, that surely that there were some lightened up versions that would be within my points budget, okay? And I said, there's not, you're crazy. I've already checked this out years ago, there's not. So they reminded me that this is not a couple of years ago and made me look it up. Okay. So we checked, and voila, or as Casey used to say when she was little, Olay, there are significant changes. So I didn't have to miss out. I not only leapt before I looked, I didn't even look, okay? So here's a list of 5 things that I think you should take a look at before you leap to conclusions about how this fits on your WW journey. So I have titled the second half of this chat, Look Before You Leap, because I was wound up, expecting news, probably had a little bit of adrenaline going, and she asked an innocent question and I leapt to a conclusion without even looking. Okay, so number 1. The number 1 thing I want you, there's only 5. I only want you to look at these 5 things. Okay, so number 1, Smoothie King or some other convenience food establishment. Doesn't have to be food, but any of those. Okay, so did you hear how quickly I shut that offer down without even checking my app? No matter how much I preach, checking the app, double checking the app, checking it again, I didn't practice it Saturday morning, okay? I was 0 to disappointed in about 30 seconds flat, okay? So I went from just getting ready for work to disappointed in about 30 seconds flat, and that led to feelings of denial, like I'm being denied a sweet and creamy treat, and in the morning, like everybody else. It's 2 other people, okay? It's just 2 other people. But in my mind, I was going, everyone else in Knoxville is getting Smoothie King this morning except for me. It was 2 people, okay? Okay, so I went straight to feelings of denial. Like, I'm being denied a Smoothie King. I'm being left out. Yep, not fair. That's exactly right, Sarah. Because I'm on a diet, which is not true, mind you. I'm not on a diet. I'm doing Weight Watchers. Thoughts of boxing foods into little forbidden food groups, which I shouldn't be doing. Now, did I want to spend all of my points for the day on a smoothie? No way. There's no way I would have spent all of my points. If what I thought when I leapt to a conclusion, if that had been true, there is no way that I would have spent all of my points for the day on a smoothie. Okay, I didn't want it that bad. Did I have I'd spend that number in mind. You betcha. I sure did. So here's what I found out. This is a 20-ounce Smoothie King. So if you go to Smoothie King, and I'm not advertising for them, I'm just telling you what I found out so that I don't have to be denied, the next time. So this is a 20-ounce. That's pretty big. Like look how big that is in my hand. So that is a 20-ounce Smoothie King. So I found out that Smoothie King has a new to me grouping, an offering that's easy to order, and it's called the Manage Weight Blends. Okay, so that's what it's new to me. So if y'all tell me if y'all tell me that they started it in 2014 or I don't know something, then I'll just have to say, oh well, I didn't know. So it's new to me. Okay, number 2. I'm gonna leave this over here so y'all can see how big that cup is. Number 2, I said that these are easy to order because they're on the menu under these names. Okay, so you're not pulling a coffee house order. You don't have to pull up and say half calf, half decaf, no dairy, stirred not shaken, stand on 1 foot while you close one eye, drink. It's not like that. These have names, so you can just order them. You don't have to do anything fancy, or they don't have to write anything fancy, on your cup. Okay, number 3, on the National Smoothie King menu, there are a total of 18 drinks on the Manage Weight Blends list. But I would advise checking your local store to make sure that they offer the one you want if you wanted to try any of these, okay? You do not have to go to Smoothie King. You don't have to drink a smoothie. I'm just telling you, I jumped to a conclusion. I leapt to a conclusion on Saturday morning and was disappointed most of the rest of the morning because they were over there. I would have liked to have had one had I known. Now I will know. Okay, number 4. These are the different categories under that Manage Weight Blends group. So as long as they have them in your area, and I would check before you get too excited about one. So the ones that are labeled Keto Champs, those are 16 to 17 points for a 20-ounce. No way. I would not spend 16. This is you're not going to chew this, okay? I like to chew my points when I can. I would have liked to have enjoyed a Smoothie King, but I'm not spending 16 to 17 points on a 20-ounce. So for me, Keto Champs is off the list. That little group is off the list, and I think there were only 2 of them anyway. Okay, number 5, the Lean 1, and I don't know what all of these mean. So if you all frequent Smoothie King, and if you know what all of these categories mean, please let me know. Please let us know. So this is Lean, and a number 1, Lean 1. The Lean 1 options are 6 to 8 points for a 20-ounce. I might go 6 to 8 points for a 28-ounce drink, you know, for my breakfast. The Mango Fest is in its own little category, and it's 11 points for a 20-ounce. Probably not going to spend 11 points. Okay, but you might. I'm just giving you some information. Metabolism boost options are 8 points. So everything that was under the metabolism boost list, those were all 8 points for a 20-ounce. Maybe. The slim and trim options are 4 to 10 points for a 20-ounce. And there were, I think, 2 or 3 flavors, strawberry for sure, and I can't remember, there was at least 2 or 3 flavors that were 4 points, and I thought, man, now I'm disappointed that I didn't say, I don't know, let me look in my app before I answer you. I would have been all over a 4-point Smoothie King, except for the fact that they paid for DoorDash. Let's see, those are the slim and trim options, and then the shredder, I don't know what that means. Again, if you all go to Smoothie King, if you know what these categories are, the shredder options are 5 to 9 points, again, for a 20-ounce. Those were super easy to find in your app. You just go to the Weight Watchers app. You go to the 3 bars that are in the upper left-hand corner. Click on that. When that drops down, one of those categories is restaurants. Click on restaurants. Search Smoothie King or scroll down to the S's. Don't forget you can filter. There's a little and I don't know what to call those. It's almost like a little sliding scale, and there's 3 lines in the upper right hand corner after you've gotten to the restaurant, and you can adjust how many points. So if you just wanted options that were in between, hello Barbara from Bonau, if you just wanted options that were the 4 to 6 point options, you could adjust that filter, and then it would take that list, that Smoothie King list, and go shook and take it down to that. Okay, just saying, I leapt hard on Saturday morning, and I had hurt feelings over it, but now my feelings are hurt that I did it. But I know now, okay? And now you know too, to look before you leap. Okay, the second area that I want you to look before you leap in is assuming that vegetarian and vegan meals are healthy or low in points. I'm about to go crazy. I'm about to lose my mind. People if you're in the vegetarian group, sorry, or people asking me questions about plant-based or meatless or vegan or vegetarian, or telling me that they're vegetarian, and then they tell me what they eat, and they're like, I'm not losing any weight. Okay, I could talk about this for days. Okay, my mother was vegan. My friend Karen is trying to be meatless. I don't eat a ton of meat. I could talk, it's just not that I don't eat it or don't like it. I just don't eat a lot of it. I could talk about this for days, and we could even do a separate chat about it, but I need to say this out loud. Just because something is labeled a food, a processed food, a meal out, a recipe, just because it's labeled vegetarian or vegan does not at all guarantee health, does not guarantee that it's low in points, and it doesn't even guarantee that it's good for you, okay? There are tons, literal tons of vegan and vegetarian or just meatless options that are so healthy for you, but being labeled that does not guarantee that, okay? And I realized as I was typing this that we just need to do an entire chat on that, okay? So I'm going to give you a couple of bullet points, and then at some point in the next couple of weeks, we will do an entire chat about vegan and vegetarian doesn't necessarily equal healthy, okay? So, and how you can do that, can eat healthily on that. First thing is, I eat and enjoy many of them, but vegan and vegetarian options can be just as bad for you due to over processing, okay? And Melissa says everything processed deserves a second look at the ingredients. Absolutely. Like, I have stopped purchasing, and I'm not going to name any brand names, but I have stopped purchasing some processed dairy-free cheeses, and that's all I'm going to say. Not because I didn't like them, not because they weren't delicious, not because they didn't melt well. They were a load of chemicals, okay? Yeah, they were dairy-free because it was a list of chemicals about this long. Okay, and I'm getting ready to try a different one that is not that long list of chemicals, and we'll talk about that later. Okay, so I enjoy a lot of them, but a lot of them, the list of chemicals and the way it's processed just makes it, if you like it, great, eat it. But it just takes it off of that healthy list. Second thing is, you might want to sit down. The Impossible Burger from Burger King is meatless, but it is prepared on the same grill as the regular hamburgers. Okay. So that's probably why it tastes so good. I can make anybody eat tofu and love it if I've prepared it in bacon grease. Okay. I'm just saying. So for everybody out there that loves the Impossible Whopper at Burger King, more power to you. Don't think it's really made how you don't think it's. Hello, Cece. I don't really think it's made how you think it's made. Okay. So remember, we're talking about looking before you leaping. I'm not saying that vegetarian and vegan things are bad. Okay. You know, I love them. But I want you to start looking before you leap, because I made that mistake Saturday morning and was disappointed. Oreos are vegan. They are in fact vegan, but I need to say, okay. And Sarah, the Impossible Whopper is not, it's like one less point. Actually, I think it might be one more point than a regular Whopper. But for people that are eating it thinking that it's vegetarian, it is, but it's cooked in the same grease as the regular Whoppers. Okay, it's prepared in the same area. So Oreos are vegan, but they're 8 points for just 3 cookies. They have 7 grams of fat, 25 carbs, and 14 grams of sugar. I'm just saying, look before you leap. Just because the package says it's vegan doesn't necessarily mean it's good for you. And an interesting one that people are confused about all the time, Jell-O gelatin is not vegan or vegetarian, because people will be like, it doesn't have any meat in it. It does not, but you need to check out what gelatin is made out of. And we're not going to talk about it tonight, but Jell-O brand gelatin is not vegetarian or vegan, but the base ingredients for most Jell-O pudding dry mixes is both dairy-free and vegan. And then it's just up to you what you mix it with. Okay, so just saying, just giving you some information there just so you can stop and look before you leap into things. Okay, the number 3 thing I want you to stop and look before you leap is, if it seems too good, it probably is. Like everything in life. Exactly, marshmallows, Lynn. Marshmallows are not vegan or vegetarian. If it seems too good, it probably is. But if it seems too bad, you might want to check it again. So some examples are, well, it sounds like I'm talking in a circle, but if you've ever scanned a can of 0 point beans and had it come up to 4 or more points, then you know what I'm talking about, okay? There are literally tens of thousands of items in the Weight Watchers database of points values, and some of them are local, some of them are standard to a store that may not be nationwide. Some of them are, and they keep adding things and people keep quick adding things and putting them in there, and they try to pick up as many as they can. But I will say, with literal tens of thousands of items in there, there's gonna be some mistakes. Okay, there will always be mistakes. It's a fact of life. This is not a perfect system. They're adding stuff and fixing stuff every single day. But what I suggest is, so when you're in doubt, these are the things I suggest. If it's a 0 point food, like for a fact it is a 0 point food, you've seen it on your 0 points food list, you've gone back to the Weight Watchers app, you have found the 0 points food list, and there's a couple of different ways to get there, and you've confirmed this is a 0 point food, and it has no other ingredients in it, no seasonings, no added oils, nothing. It is just the 0 point food, and it scans as points. Like my example was the beans. That was just a can of beans. It was just beans, no oil, no fat, no seasoning, no anything else added to it. But it was a store brand, and it's a store brand. It's a smaller store that's around here. So since I checked everything out and made sure that it was just beans, I overrode to 0. Okay, I made it 0. I typed in beans. I didn't take the scan. I just overrode it to 0. So when in doubt, check it again. Okay, number 2, if it seems too low, it probably is, or it could be. So maybe check under another brand. Or ask your WW leader or somebody in our group for some advice. So if you scan something and you think, that's not right, there's no way that that's only that number of points, or especially like on the eating out, if you put in a serving of meatloaf or something, and if you think, that seems a little low for that, there's a couple of different ways to double check it, or if it's something that you can't double check on your own, ask your Weight Watchers leader, or feel free to reach out to one of us in the If You Have an Egg group. And if we can figure it out, we will be happy to help you. But just remember, if it seems too low, it probably is. Okay. Number 3, if you just want it to be lower though, do not do number 2. Okay. So number 2 was if it seems too low, to double check it. If you just hoped in your heart of hearts that it was less, don't go to number 2, because we're just going to tell you, no honey, it's that many points. Okay. Number 4, if it seems too high or just not quite right, try checking the information another way. So Jackie in our in-person group scanned a bulk box of it was a veggie straws item, but it was called veggie eggs, or veggie Easter eggs, I think. So she scanned the box while she was at Sam's. So it's this big bulk box. I don't know, like 12 in a box or something. So she scans the barcode on the box and it says 2 points per bag. Perfect. That was exactly what Jackie was looking for. She was looking for something that she could take out individual bags. 2 points, hit the mark. That was exactly what she wanted. But then when she got home and opened the box, for some reason, she scanned an individual bag. When she scanned the bag, it came up 6 points. Okay. She knew it wasn't 6 points. She knew it was not. So she brought a couple of the bags to our Weight Watchers meeting last week to let us try them, but also so that we could double check what was going on. So we checked the nutritional information. We typed in the nutritional information into the spot on your WW app where you can enter that. Like if something is not already in the database, you can just enter the calories, the protein, the fat, the carbohydrates, all that stuff, fiber. You can enter all that in there and it will give you a points value. So we double checked it there, 2 points. Then we looked on the bag and we looked on the box and we confirmed how many grams that the bag weighed and how many ounces were in the bag, also 2 points. So Jackie and I have decided these are 2 point bags. Okay. So I think that was just a random scan error once you got to the bag as opposed to the box, but we double checked it, triple checked it, whatever, and it did come up to 2. So if it seems too high or if it just doesn't seem quite right, see if there's another way. If there's another way that you can check that information. Okay. I'm going to take a sip of water because I've been talking a lot and fast. The 4th thing that I want you just to stop and look before you leap is don't assume that you understand Weight Watchers math. Scan it and click the quantity. Okay. So don't just assume that you understand how this math works. The way points are calculated under the Weight Watchers system, some rounding will and could and will occur, just like in math in the real world. Okay, this is not people from Weight Watchers being mean. This is not people who don't want you to enjoy your food. It's just life. Rounding occurs, and rounding in this case occurs if anything is at 0.5. So like if it's 0.5 or higher, then like a 0.5. or higher, then it's going to be 1 point. If it's less than 0.5, it's going to be 0 points. The same as for like 1.4 would be 1, 1.5 would, or 1.6, whatever would be 2. So if you look up a singular light string cheese, you will be rewarded with only 1 point to track. So a singular light string cheese, most of the singular light string cheeses are 1 point when you track them. Okay, that's because the fraction or the decimal, however it's when it gets calculated, the fraction or the decimal is under 0.5. It's under 1.5. So it might be like, it could be 1, it could be 1.1, it could be 0.9. I don't know what the rounding is on that, and I don't know what the exact number is on that, but whatever the singular string cheese comes out to, and I'm going to guess it's going to be like 1.4-ish. So if let's say it's 1.4, then it would count, it'd be 1.4, it would round down to 1. Okay, but this is why I want you to look before you leap. So if you're thinking about eating 2, what's confusing? Hold on a second. Sarah, replying to Sarah. Oh, yeah. So Sarah says that the quantity can be confusing if it says, what's in the dry mix, because obviously nobody's going to consume the dry mix. Most things will also it'll have like the dry mix in one column, and then it'll say as prepared in another column. So just, watch for things like that. But if you find anything specifically like that, please feel free just to post a picture of it in over on the If You Have an Egg in the group, and I promise one of us, it might not be me, but one of us will get back to you and let you, help you on calculating that. We also do a lot of, let's see, Deanna, and there's a couple of other people that like to use like boxed cake mixes, but they don't use them as prepared, but they can also kind of walk you through how to use a boxed cake mix with other ingredients and how to figure out what those points are when you use that box in a different way than intended. Okay, so the Weight Watchers math, again, that's not some mean person standing up there going, you can't have that. You can only have one string cheese because I'm going to punish you if you get a second string cheese. So one, I'm going to guess is like 1.4 because it makes it 1. It rounds down to 1 point, but because the fraction is under 1.5, but when you scroll up to 2 of the light string cheeses, like the kind that I eat, it doesn't go to 2 points. It jumps to 3 points. And the reason that it jumps to 3 points is, let's say, for example, that one of my light string cheeses is 1.4, so it rounds down to 1. But if I count one at 1.4 and then add a second one at 1.4, that suddenly makes it the two of those 2.8, which rounds up to 3. Okay, so check it. Check. Don't just jump in. Don't just leap before you look and assume that you know how this math works, because it stinks, but it makes sense because I'm winning if I just eat one, you know what I mean? Because I'm getting 1.4 points for only 1 point. But if I eat 2, I need to go ahead and count the 3 because, some days you win, some days somebody else wins. And it does stink sometimes, but be aware, just be aware of that, because you're not cheating the system if you don't follow the laws of WW math. You're only cheating you, okay? So, yeah, counting 1 and then later just counting another 1 and just counting it as 2 is only cheating you, okay? It's not cheating Weight Watchers, it's just cheating you. Yeah, and Johnny, you're right too. She says that I think they do the dry mix info in case you fix it differently from the directions. Yeah, well, and because that's the only thing they can control. So they can only control the dry ingredients that are in the box or in the package. They cannot control what if you do just sit and eat it with a spoon. Did you ever think about that? What if you do? So they can only control what's in that box. So that's part of why they put that down there. Okay, number 5. Do not forget the portions versus servings chat, which was chat number 337. There have been many foods over the years that I had taken off my list, never put on my list, because I didn't look. I leapt and made an assumption before I ever looked. So even though I was quick to shut down the Smoothie King on Saturday, never again, okay? I try to be aware, and thank you, Yuli. I try to be aware and go look at foods that I've turned away before as a portion rather than a serving. So in chat number 337, it was called, I think it was called Portions 101. So if you go watch that, we're going to go look at that one. You can go to IfYouHaveAnEgg.com and search, if you just type in 337 or if you type in portions, that chat's going to come up, or you can go to YouTube and find my YouTube channel. It's just youtube.com and then search If You Have an Egg. Find chat number 337, watch it again. So we're talking about portions versus servings. So again, a lot of foods have never even made it to my list, or they've come off of my list because I only looked at them, I looked at them through a microscope as a serving, as whatever serving size was on it, instead of as a portion, and what portion did I need? So you'll just have to go back and watch that, the entire Portions 101 chat. But one of my favorite examples is granola. So I will use this as my last one because it's like 7 till now. So I will use granola as my last example of why you shouldn't leap first. You should look first before you leap. So over the years, gosh, how many years have we been doing this? I don't even know. It's 330, whatever I said earlier, 353 divided by 52, however many years that is that we've been doing this. And I still, there's somebody right now in this little group of people that's with us right now that's going, granola? Have you lost your mind? Do you know how many points that is? There's always somebody that goes, and they see granola is on my list. So I eat it multiple times a week, okay? I love granola and I eat it multiple times a week, but it got added to my list like this. This is how it got added. So this is pumpkin seed and flax granola from Aldi. If you go by, so if you scan this, the serving size, so the amount that is recommended, the serving that's recommended, remember that's based on what average people would eat. That's how they come up with servings. The USDA, that's how they come up with serving sizes, is the normal amount that people would eat. It's 3/4 of a cup. So they're saying, so the USDA is saying that if your serving size is 3/4 of a cup, it is 9 whopping points. Okay, 9 points for 3/4 of a cup. There's no way I'm not spending 9 points. So if I just leapt and sent granola off of my list without actually looking at it, I would not be eating it. And Debbie's exactly right. So here's how I look instead of leaping. My portion, so even though they say that a serving size is 3/4 of a cup, I don't need 3/4 of a cup of granola. Ooh, I don't know who's eating 3/4 of a cup of just granola. Sometimes I'll mix it in with other cereal, but my portion, the portion that I like of this, is 2 tablespoons. And 2 tablespoons of this flavorful and crunchy cereal going on top of my yogurt that already has some fruit in it, 1 point, okay? Not 3/4 of a cup like the USDA recommends for 9 stinking points. 2 tablespoons, plenty. That adds plenty of flavor. It adds plenty of crunch. So totally satisfying for 1 point, okay? So if I had just looked at the suggested serving and those points, I never would have tried it. I would have never had yogurt, or not yogurt. I would have never had granola on my list. Okay. Whew. So we are just about out of time. I'm sure y'all have some fantastic ideas of things that you leapt past that didn't make your list. Smoothie King was the one for me this week. That will not happen to me again the next time she wants Smoothie King, unless they're door dashing, and I'm just not spending that much money on it. Anyway, yeah, I probably could have gone back and picked it up for them and just taken the money that they spent on DoorDash. Okay, but I digress. I'm just not a that kind of delivery girl. But anyways, I'm sure there are tons of things that you've been just leaping and like, nope, take them off the list. Because I did it Saturday, okay? I did it Saturday. I will not do that with Smoothie King again. But let me know if you find anything. Let me know if you try anything. Let me know if you figure out, is it a portion? Is it checking out? Is it looking at information that you haven't seen in a while? Because remember, this was, my last Smoothie King data was years ago. So I made an assumption. Okay, y'all have a great week. Sarah just asked about Dusty. He's doing well. I don't know why checking his sugar is making him we haven't done anything any differently, but it seems to be working. Hopefully we're going to have a recheck on Tuesday, since tomorrow is President's Day. But everybody have a fantastic week. If you are watching this later on YouTube, that's just youtube.com, search If You Have an Egg. Please go ahead and let that next little video roll over. I promise you will enjoy it. And pretty please subscribe. I'd love to see my little subscriber number go up. It's just so fun for me. I get nothing for it other than the joy of the numbers going up, or comments. I love it when y'all comment on YouTube. And Rosie has not commented in a while. No pressure, Rosie. Just saying. But anyway, y'all have a fantastic week, and I'll figure out a way to sneak in some Smoothie King probably sometime this week. And y'all let me know if you find anything. And Debbie just posted a good one. That is also a good one. But y'all have a great week, and I will see you next time. Good night.